Welcome. This is Empower Sessions, where we're talking about maximizing the impact of federal education funding. This is video number 3, addressing the impacts of the pandemic, PowerSchool solutions. My name is Jeremy Meredith. I have over a dozen years in public education. Most recently, I came from the Colorado Department of Education, where I help districts navigate the use of ESEA and ESSER funds. Before that, I worked in Tennessee with state leaders to shape state policy through a collaborative approach to education reform. And even before that, I spent a number of years in Washington, D.C., where I worked with D.C. public schools. I am currently a director of education solutions with PowerSchool. So today, as I indicated, we're talking about addressing the impacts of the pandemic with PowerSchool solutions. So why don't we, before we dive into PowerSchool solutions, talk about some key ESSER terms. And these are sort of allowable uses under ESSER. They are preparedness and response, accelerated learning, and continuity of operations. So what do these mean when you hear these bandied about when we're talking about ESSER allowable uses? So let's start with preparedness and response. This is an allowable use that's present in all ESSERs 1, 2, and 3. So kind of what's meant by this is, and you see a definition on the right, coordination of preparedness and response efforts to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus. What are some examples? Developing and implementing procedures and systems such as health and safety protocols, staffing and instructional needs, and technology, providing mental health services and supports, including through the implementation of evidence-based student emotional and behavioral support strategies. And this could also mean training staff on sanitizing and minimizing the spread of infectious disease. So that's kind of what is meant by preparedness and response. So what is meant by accelerated learning when you hear that? That term is present only in ESSERs 2 and 3. It actually isn't anywhere in ESSER 1. What it means is addressing learning loss among all students in all subgroups, including by administering high-quality assessments to understand needs, evidence-based interventions, EBIs, virtual learning, etc. So give me some more examples, right? Providing additional instructional resources and supports to address interruptions to student learning opportunities. This could mean something like implementing rigorous curricula and tiered interventions through RTI or MTSS. It can also mean funding additional school counselors, school nurses, school psychologists by leveraging technology to support student wellness needs. So the third term that we're hearing a lot about and we're going to unpack is continuity of operations. So this is defined as other activities necessary to maintain the operation and continuity of services in LEAs, local education agencies, and continuing to employ existing staff. So give me some more examples, right? Purchasing educational technology, including hardware, software, connectivity, assistive technology, or adaptive equipment for students that aid in regular and substantive educational interaction between students and their classroom teachers. Achieving stable operations. This can be administrative operations. It could be instructional aspects, whether conducting schooling in person or remote. So there you have it. Wanted to first unpack some of these key terms because I know that we're hearing these terms a lot in the field, and I think it's helpful to take a moment to break those down. Okay, so let's now talk about the PowerSchool solution wheel. This visually organizes all PowerSchool solutions, starting with the foundational student information system and enrollment system. There's 5 clusters of PowerSchool solutions: Unified Classroom in blue, Unified Administration in red, Unified Talent in orange, unified communities in yellow, and unified home in green. And outside of all those, encircling that is Unified Insights, which is PowerSchool's data and analytics solution. And it really encompasses the solution wheel. Key solutions and their purposes are listed on the right. So let's talk about specific solutions in the PowerSchool offerings. And then we're going to talk about how these connect or sort of intersect and address impacts of the pandemic. So let's start with that student information system. The purpose is to capture student information, as the name suggests, and integrate across all systems. Enrollment, your analytics system, your learning management system. Your enrollment solution is, as indicated by the name, to help you enroll quick and easy without paper, getting away from paper. Schoology is the learning management system which enables or is purposed to manage lessons and assignments both virtually and in person. Performance Matters is to track student learning to make informed instructional decisions, and that syncs up well with our other solutions. Unified Talent, the purpose of some of those solutions are to recruit, hire, onboard, develop, and manage staff absences, among other things. Unified Insights is that band around the wheel. It really is, it takes a step back and it can provide academic and behavioral analytics along with early warning indicators to enable your staff to understand how students are doing and how they can be supported better. Unified Administration provides finance, HR, payroll, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that in a minute. Naviance is a college and career exploration tool and to enable student readiness to explore options and prepare for the future. And finally, the newest addition to the PowerSchool solution wheel, if you will, is Kickboard. And that is a social emotional learning and positive behavioral intervention support tool that enables tracking of student data so you can understand the impacts of different strategies around behavioral management. Okay, so those are the solutions that PowerSchool offers. How do these kind of intersect with the impacts of the pandemic? So this slide kind of lays it out in a table, addressing the pandemic impacts through PowerSchool solutions. On the left-hand column, you see various pandemic impacts and all solutions. You see that interrupted and virtual schooling, all of the solutions that PowerSchool offers really speaks to the conditions of the pandemic. Interrupted and virtual schooling, from the student information system to the learning management system in Schoology to talent to Naviance and administration. All of these solutions allow schools to, as we talked about before, ensure the continuity of operations so ESSER funds can be applied here and do the work of schooling. As we move down the left-hand column, we're talking about remote hybrid lesson and assignment management. How do you do the work of teaching if you don't have a tool to do that? Well, Schoology helps you do that. When you're experiencing teacher and support staffing shortages, talent and unified administration are great products to address those needs. If you're experiencing remote financial management, where you need to do, the purchasing and payroll and all of that stuff remotely, guess what? Unified administration enables you to do that. Inconsistent student learning insights. So we know with the pauses in some state standardized assessments over the past year or two, there's been some pretty big inconsistencies in understanding how students are doing. Performance management, or PM, and Unified Insights both enable or can enable you to have a interim and formative kind of sync with your students and understand how they're doing in shorter timelines. If you're experiencing remote employee records management and you need to get your hands on employee data, but you can't get your hands on paper files, Talent is a great solution for that. Remote college and career pathways exploration, Naviance is the tool. And finally, extensive behavioral and emotional support needs. I do want to take a sec here to just emphasize how much the COVID-19 pandemic and interrupted learning has impacted students' behavioral and social emotional support needs. And we are very excited to offer Kickboard as a means to support schools in their culture, in their positive behavioral support interventions. So there you have it. There's some examples of pandemic impacts and how PowerSchool solutions kind of intersect with those pandemic impacts and can help you at the school and district level. And if you have not already, folks, check out our other funding videos. We have a video on starting the funding conversation and also a video about ESSER into 2022 and beyond, some good to knows. So thank you so much for joining. We hope that this has been beneficial, and for more information, visit PowerSchool.com.